Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo Saturday edition. I'm your host and keeper of the Harry Channel, and with me tonight is Minion SkepTok.
Minion 1.
Minion
SkepTok.
1.
Hi, everybody.
The minion. The count of the minions shall be one.
One little minion.
One little minion. So, yeah. Here, let me actually try to bring you in. So, Skep, why don't you tell us about, well, I guess your last couple of weeks since we missed you last week. Whatever you want to share.
Actually, there's just been, kind of some family stuff and some other things, mostly logistical things, boring life stuff that caused me to miss last week. Actually, I got home in time last week. I was just too tired to participate. Sometimes just too run down. I couldn't believe I was not good to go last week.
These things happen. I mean, not to startle anyone, but I was sitting here thinking, it's like at some point this has to end, right? I mean, this experience that we have on Saturday nights, and I was thinking, should it end now? How would I feel about that? And I thought,
Von Neumann said maybe not.
That feels
it could
wrong.
Conceivably go on forever.
Actually, that's an interesting topic. We might just jump right into that one, because you haven't seen the. Okay, the thing is, you haven't seen the spreadsheet, right?
Okay, no, I have not.
You have no foreknowledge of what's in the spreadsheet, but there is a topic tonight that ties in beautifully with that. But no, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, that just feels wrong. I would not want to stop doing this, at least not right now.
No,
I'm very happy doing this. This is an important part of my week. It's a fantastic outlet, and I have reaped so many benefits from it outside of doing the show. Not just personal relationships with people, but it is. I've picked up so many new useful skills that I use in my everyday life.
And as have I, and I noticed that. And when I notice things like that, I always ask myself, why is this happening? What behaviors are going on that are influencing this? And the short answer is that this show is a very interesting locus of people of very different backgrounds, different abilities, skill sets, different levels of involvement and sophistication in lots of different places. And as such, it is a very non-standard place to have encounters. And so you can expect that some of the some of those encounters will result in insights that you literally could not or would not likely ever glean anywhere else. I think it's absolutely a fascinating environment, combining lots of disparate things that would never ordinarily get combined. When would I ever meet Serenity?
You wouldn't.
Exactly.
You just wouldn't. She has some really interesting viewpoints on things. Sadly, she can't be with us tonight.
Yeah.
Functional has some really interesting viewpoints on things. It is a very diverse
Functional's group. Perfect Sora. All our regular.
Sora's in Vegas right now, so I'm looking forward to the trip report when she gets back from Vegas. She's gone to the Sphere.
A Romanian in Vegas.
Yeah.
That could be a mini-series.
It could be a mini-series. But anyway, I assumed you wanted to say a few words about our most recently departed Apollo astronaut.
Well, yeah, not to mention Mr. Lair.
Yeah, we sort of did yeoman's like work last week for Mr. Lair, but I will grab something while you talk about Jim.
Well, I had the good fortune to meet Jim Lovell, and my dad knew him a little bit. He knew a lot of the astronauts, and Jim Lovell was just known as, just a top performing guy and a nice guy, a decent guy all the way through, sense of humor, just the kind of guy everybody wanted to fly with. There's a reason he got on Apollo 8. Everybody wanted him on Apollo 8. And the subsequent thing that happened on Apollo 13, it was tragic. But I'll tell you this, of all the mission commanders, and I will include Neil Armstrong in that, I think the one who would have handled that situation the best was Jim Lovell out of all of them. Are you back here, or am I still on my own?
Yeah, well, I'm just letting you talk.
Okay. So anyway, so Jim Lovell, fair winds, following seas, a great man, Navy test pilot, Navy man, just makes me proud, even though he was Academy. Just good all the way through. Good family man, good man. He was not just a great man. He was a good man. He reminds me a lot of my dad.
Your dad knew a lot of fantastic people. He was in a really interesting place at a really interesting time.
Ed White, the first man to walk in space, and his wife, Pat, used to come over to our house and play bridge. My mother used to get enraged that they table talked. That's absolute truth.
Yeah.
Ed and Patty are coming over. Oh, she's going to table talk. They're so competitive.
It's such a small world.
It is. It was. And back then, that was a very, very small world.
Well, would you say hello to the chat for me, please?
I shall. I'd actually been in chat earlier just to kind of poke my head in and see who was around. And the first ones we had in here was, oh, crap, how did I do this? First one we had in was Misfit and Raymond Lewis, followed very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I had already said hello to them. And JB is here with us this evening. Hey, JB, nice to see you. Thanks for coming in, guys. We love to have you be a part of the show. We're one of those conversation shows that actually reads our chat and enjoys it when you can be a fine part of the show and contribute and ask questions and have some meaning. Anyway, thanks for being here. We enjoy having you here and enjoy having someone to do this in front of.
And chat's going to be, I think, a bigger part of the conversation tonight than it sometimes is, because I'm not going to have to do as much traffic control. So, when I was talking about the show and how it all happens, I have come to realize that there are a number of different kinds of topics that I can pick. And some of them are of the form, hey, isn't this cool? And I just sort of show people a thing, right? Now, whether or not that generates any conversation, which is kind of the point of the exercise, depends entirely on who's here. So different people, for whatever reasons, show up or don't show up at the last minute. And then I throw out a, hey, look at this shiny bauble that I found. And sometimes you just get nothing because there's nothing to say. It's like, here's a thing. And it's like, yep, that's a thing. Okay, next. Not good for the show.
Yeah, and it's definitely a Labrador Retriever doing a handstand.
Yeah,
so what?
And I pick it because it's like, okay, this is a thing that I think is generally interesting, and I like things to be a little educational with all the infotainment going on. And I'm just like, yeah, you need to not do that, or you need to be much more careful about dynamically adjusting what you pull from the spreadsheet depending on who's there. So I'm always trying to make things just a little better. But with just you and me, we've worked through all these permutations of or combinations, of different people that are on the panel. And I can't remember the last time it was just you and me.
It was that actually happened about 6 months ago.
It's been a long 6 months.
Yeah, roughly 6 months on that order.
Yeah. Well, let me,
I remember it was a show where we kept expecting somebody to show up, and then I think we kept expecting Functional to show up. We kept talking about it.
That sounds like us. All right, let me see. Browser. All right, so we were talking about Mr. Lehrer. Now,
yes,
we talked about Tom Lehrer. I almost said Jim Lehrer. That's another Lehrer. But we talked about Tom Lehrer last week, and then I was thinking, I think the Ig Nobel Prizes are coming up. I should get ready for myself and for the show. And I was looking through their announcements, and I did not know about the connection between Tom Lehrer and the people who put on the Igs. turns out that he actually wrote 2 songs for the first Ig Nobel Prize awards.
Yes.
But he, on the condition that he not be credited.
Right.
Okay. Did you know that? I did not know that. And also because they like to put on little operas, which are frankly kind of terrible, but that's what makes them great. So they do these little mini operas sometimes based on a theme. This year's theme is digestion, by the way. And for several years at the beginning, he would provide notes after they'd write the operas about how to improve them. Since he used to teach a class called The Making of the Modern American Musical, I think he's eminently qualified to do something like that. But he was, you know, I mean, I'm showing a picture. This is the Ig Nobel people hanging out with Tom Lehrer about 10 years ago. Good times. I mean, the guy's obviously going to be missed, but it's not like he didn't have a really good run. But
he had a great run, but there's some things people don't know about Tom Lehrer.
I'm sure.
He truly was a polymath. He was good at a lot of things. He was he got, when he wrote the song The Vatican Rag, it was banned by the Catholic Church as sacrilegious. Okay, so it was a mortal sin to listen to this record. The record was actually banned by the city of Boston. It was banned in Boston, a very Catholic city. And he lost his instructorship at Harvard over it.
Give him the Lenny Bruce treatment.
Right. So what did he do? He went across the river to that other place and taught math there.
Yeah. Good guy. Good times. Well, I mean,
good man.
Let's see. Well, I don't want to get too maudlin about all this sort of stuff, but yeah, I mean, we're not going to ever forget Tom Lehrer as long as those of us on the panel, and most of the people on the chat are around. There's going to be at least somebody who remembers Tom Lehrer.
Well, one other thing just ties into what we were talking about with my dad. My dad knows an awful lot of people who know Tom Lehrer, and Tom Lehrer knows an awful lot of people who know my dad. Mm-hmm. And among those people, they think it's funny that my dad and Tom Lehrer have never met, especially the ones who were treated to me playing Tom Lehrer songs to them at dinner parties that my parents threw when I was in high school. I would come down with a guitar and do 3 Tom Lehrer numbers.
As one does, yeah.
Yes, one does. Well, singing. First, We Got the Bomb, and that was good because we love Peace and Motherhood to Edward Teller. I got to do that when I was a junior in high school.
I'm sure he also would have enjoyed the song about Werner von Braun.
I sang that one too.
Yeah,
that was the first one I sang to him.
Well, good job.
Of the 3 that I did that night.
Well, you definitely get a retroactive POB for that. That's really good. Well, let's see. There's a few things that, since we don't have some people here, I'm going to have to hold some stuff back. So stay with me while I dynamically reinterpret the order of the spreadsheet here.
In other words, ladies and gentlemen, what we're saying is Harry just hit recalculate.
Yeah, I'm just going, okay. So this article irritates me, okay? Some mathematicians don't believe in infinity, okay?
Oh, stop right there.
I really feel
I'm already mad.
I really feel like this can't possibly be true. It says, so can finitism possibly describe the real world? Okay.
This is just going to be a painful exercise.
Well, you said something earlier which reminded me of this. I can't remember what it was you were talking about in terms of infinity. You said something about infinity, and I thought it provided a useful segue. So this is more of that 2 + 2 = 5 nonsense, but a little smarter than that. I often hear people bandy about the idea of infinity, like they'll say the universe is infinite, or the gravitational force at the event horizon of a black hole is infinite, or they'll throw infinite around with just not a care in the world.
Right.
Infinite equals very, very large, and it absolutely doesn't. There is a finite number of atoms in the universe.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a number, right? You can you could look at how big the universe is and divide that by the Planck constant, and you could come up with some ridiculously large number. The universe has a finite size, right? I mean, but a lot of people treat things like they're not, and this is what gives the idea of infinity a bad name. Because of course, if you look at the very, very small, and you're talking about numbers, mathematical concepts, right? That, I mean, the basis of a lot of this idea of counting are these things called, this cardinal numbers. And what are cardinal numbers? I have 3 apples. The cardinal number that describes the number of things in that set is 3. It's like, it corresponds to real world types of things. Can it be enumerated? If you can count them eventually, then it's finite. If they're uncountably large, they're infinite. That's all it freaking means.
Yep.
You start taking the unit line from 0 to 1, and you start subdividing it into rational numbers and irrational numbers, and you can even talk about which infinities are more infinite than other infinities.
Right, exactly.
And
what happens when you sum infinite?
Yeah, exactly. This is all completely legitimate stuff, and it's not placeholder stuff. I feel like somebody wasn't getting enough sex in his life, or wasn't getting enough attention, because this seems like an academic cry for help.
Attention. Yeah. This titles like this just make me sad.
Yeah, I'll make you a deal. If some people would stop being so sloppy with the word infinity, maybe we could just shut up about this topic.
Yeah, in truth, infinity is, obviously a useful, extremely important concept. But one thing is, it's not a number. A number is something that can be counted, okay, or computed.
Well, there's countable sets, and there's uncountable sets. That's all it means. Can it be counted? It's finite. Can it not be counted? It's infinite.
It's infinite.
That easy.
Right.
Not complicated.
No,
we don't have to get into 80 of the complicated bullshit. It's all very straightforward. Can you count it? Can't you count it? That's all it really means. And there's a lot of things in this world that you can't count. So the idea of throwing infinity out for whatever reason is just like, no, I'm not even going to play this game.
But now the universe does impose limits. I mean, we can compute a length that is so small that there's nothing that could happen within anything that could happen within that length. There's no physical process that could happen. So effectively, you have the smallest thing that can happen. Mm-hmm. And you can, there are physical limits to that, but this argument that everything is finite because I can count things is at best sophistry.
I do agree that how a lot of this started, though, is people getting sloppy about the idea of infinity.
That's exactly what it is.
Very large numbers.
That's what I'm protesting.
It's just a placeholder for when I have to start writing too many zeros. That's all that means.
Yeah, it's a big number. Mm-hmm. Is infinity a big number? Yes. No, it's not. No, it's not. No.
Well, shall we set this aside before chat rebels? I get a check. It's like, oh, we have one person listening. No, we have more than one person listening.
Yeah.
I apologize, chat, but as a math dude, let's just leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
This kind of shit annoys the crap out of me. Not to mention that the thing that made me interested in math was the topic that involves this very sort of thing. This is so Harry's wheelhouse that it's not even funny. All right. So anyway, moving on to the next thing. Can't have a proper rant about all these things. So what about, okay, that's not loading in the right window. Well, let's make this window go away completely and try that again. All right. Okay, so apparently it's going to be cold this winter, Skep.
Large scale stratospheric wind shift could trigger a colder, snowier winter.
Yeah, they're claiming that it's this thing is the quasi-biennial oscillation, the QBO. Apparently, every couple years, the polar vortex breaks down a little bit, and cold air comes spilling down, and it just becomes colder than hell.
Yep. This is the latest Ptolemy's epicycle explanation of the weather. It did this, so it must be doing this. No, probably not.
Maybe.
It may be,
Yeah.
but it may not be.
Well, I mean,
Who
these are dynamic systems, obviously, and you get into the whole chaos theory. The thing is, we have these chaotic attractors, so even in this chaotic system, there's some quasi order that starts to develop, and these oscillations are observable. We do see these things happen like forever. The explanations for why they happen get a little bit dicey, and we definitely understand more than we did. But more people die from the cold than the heat by like a lot. People, and in Europe, the number of people that die from the cold is staggering. Here in the U.S., the Europeans will make fun of us and our 120 volt electric systems and herder about our heating and cooling. It's like, well, we're not the ones that constantly have people dying from extreme weather, extreme heat or extreme cold. The Europeans need to just take it down a peg on that hottiness, I think. Have you ever observed that? Because I've seen it more than a few times. They just are very full of themselves. I mean, forget for a moment that if you have an electric tea kettle, you can make tea twice as fast because they have some sane amount of voltage. But I'm a little envious sometimes.
Yeah. There's some direct drive things that work a lot better with the reasonable voltage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was looking to see if there were any statistics to see how many people died from the cold in Germany, for example, in between in the 30 years of between 1991 and 2020, there were. This is a staggeringly high number.
Mm-hmm.
There were 1/3 cold-related deaths in Germany.
Yeah.
1/3 Harry.
Staggering. It's staggering how bad Europe it is at protecting people from cold weather.
Oh, crap. I had no idea that was that.
What is it in the U.S.? It's like a few hundred or several hundred or maybe 1,000 or something. It's nothing like Europe. I think they really need to just ease up on the attitude with us until they've solved some basic problems.
1,024 deaths last year were attributed to excessive cold.
Yeah, let's just piss off Europe. Sorry to anybody who's in Europe who's in the chat right now.
So Germany has 10 times, in an absolute sense, Germany, which has a much smaller population, has 1/6 as many people, has 10 times as many numerically deaths per year.
Yeah.
That's what that is. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, we're not that different, are we?
Well, I feel like this headline from the European weather people maybe hits harder, or as the kids would say, hits differently for the Europeans. It's like, oh crap, I guess, we're going to lose another million people because it's going to get cold this winter. Whereas for us, it's like, oh God, stupid polar vortex. And then we'll just get on with our lives.
Yeah. Germany's losing, 12 or 13,000 people every year from cold.
Yeah.
And has been for 30 years and doesn't do anything about it. Now,
back in the old
60 times, you're 60 times more likely to die from cold in Germany than you are in the United States.
I have a problem. I do get like this sometimes when I had like a real job where I had to show up and stuff. The people got this, they got together and they got this karma ticket books where they could give me karma tickets when I misbehave. And it was like a parking ticket, but they'd give it to me if I got a little too full of myself. And I once got one for user interface hubris because I went on a rant about X Windows one time. And they're like, okay, you need to dial it back, Harry. See, but there's nobody to keep me in check now. So I can just say terrible things about Germany and all their freezing to death. And it's just
X Windows was going to be the liberation of Unix. You knew that, though, didn't you?
X Windows is great.
That's great stuff.
Took about a day to compile it on a Sun 350, but
those were the days, huh?
when you want to run X Windows? Well, get to compiling, Harry.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's just put a little check mark next to that. And I have the Infinity thing filed under midwits.
Yeah.
Okay, but back to the ignobles, right? So you may or may not be aware that the WNBA, the women's NBA, people have been throwing sex toys onto the court. Have you heard about this?
Yes, I have. I've been watching. I watch the WNBA. It's like my guilty pleasure. I'm a big Caitlin Collins fan, but I know some of the major names in it. Kelsey Mitchell, Paige Becker, a lot of those. Angel Reese. It's an interesting league that's going through some great drama right now.
Yeah. I mean, I wish them nothing but the best. And honestly, you really shouldn't be throwing dildos at the girls. I think that's a bit rude. But it's really kind of a huge controversy. But what this reminded me of is, again, when I was looking for this, the IGs, the Ig Nobel Prizes. So initially, people would throw paper airplanes onto the stage at Harvard, and it would cause a great problem because they'd constantly be cleaning up paper airplanes and somebody's going to put their eye out and stuff. So they actually started having like controlled paper airplane events. So at various times throughout the presentation, and they still do this, you are allowed to throw paper airplanes at the crowd. So I just have a little sample of that.
Good evening. I am Nicole Sharp, creator of FYFD, the internet's most popular.
See, she's got her paper
blog.
airplane.
Listen to me, please. It is almost time. Are your paper airplanes ready?
See, this is how you do it.
Them yet. People in time zones around the world.
I'll fast forward a little bit to the thing. So you put on your safety glasses. You know, the rules have been established. You've got some Nobel laureates.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch.
This is all just good fun. And then they sweep away the huge piles. And I am not suggesting that the WNBA set aside a period of time at the beginning, middle, and end of the game upon which it becomes a dildo free-for-all.
That is great fun, though.
That would be hilarious. But
bring a sex toy to the game and throw it on the court.
Yeah.
Put your safety glasses on first.
Yeah, not while everybody's playing. You know, hard hats, safety glasses. They just throw them and somebody comes out and sweeps up all the sex toys, and then they go on and play the game. And then during the halftime, they have another period where people could get this out of their system. Yeah. This is just the dumbest story. This is it wouldn't, if we weren't paying attention to it, nobody would care. But I guess on Polymarket, where people bet on such things, the betting on the color and frequency of sex toys is now has more action than the games themselves.
Except for games involving Caitlin Clark.
Ah. And her buddy, was it Sophie Cunningham?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who I guess is trying to run physical and press interference for her.
Sophie's an enforcer.
She's
a big girl.
I think she's gonna do just fine in her career, because I mean, yeah, she's a force to be reckoned with. But it's annoying that I know two more names of people in the WNBA than I do in the actual NBA. I'm not sure I know anybody who plays in the NBA. I just have no interest in it. I don't know.
And that Lou Alcindor, that new guy.
I don't know.
UCLA?
I don't know. I have no knowledge of who's playing at this point. I was surprised to find out that Larry Bird used to just be the most ridiculous trash talker, though. He was God. He was just awful. Legendary at some of the stuff that he would do. And the thing is, he would always just sort of back it up. He was at some free throw competition thing. It's, you know, pretty much a friendly, let's just make the crowd happy, have some fan service. And he would show up and go talk to people in back while they're getting ready. He'd say, okay, so which one of you guys is going to come in second? Now, if it wasn't for the fact that Larry Bird was just like an amazing talent. One of those. Yeah, he was
he was a
fantastic.
basketball mutant.
But this current crew, I just don't care about.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really care. I don't really like watching other people do sports to begin with, but the WNBA is fine. I just don't really watch sports.
It's just time for a quick rant on basketball.
Okay, go ahead.
Basketball's court dimensions were developed before a time of 40-inch vertical leaps and 7-foot tall centers who could camp down in the paint. The game has changed. When I went to a Mavericks game, Dallas Mavericks game, and what I was impressed, I was sitting down very near the court. What I was impressed was the fact that all the players can get from one side of the court, one lateral, one short side, can cross the width of the court, not the length, the width, in 1 or 2 steps. They just are amazing athletes. They take 2 strides and they're completely across the court. Mm-hmm. And I kept looking at them and looking at these amazing leaps, and I realized the problem with basketball is the court has not grown with the abilities of the players, and so the plays that happen inside kind of happen the same way every time. Pickoffs and switches happen to get a mismatch, and you play the same defense every time, and you're either in position or you're not in position. Make the play, don't make the play. There's a lot of sameness. If you open up the court and have much more passing, and you'd probably have less scoring, but it'd be a more interesting game because making a basket would be more of a big deal. I don't know. It's just an idea. The other thing that I always wanted to do was put the basket at about 16 feet high.
Okay. I never found the sort of the analogy part of the SATs to be intimidating because I love analogies. So I'm going to give you an analogy.
Okay.
The NBA is like the Italian stock market.
Okay.
Because the problem is, if you're important enough and you have enough juice, nobody enforces the rules on you. That's the problem. So the superstars who put butts in seats in the WNBA, call a foul on them, who cares? Even to an extent in the WNBA, they're letting people get away with way too much shit going after Caitlin. Yeah. Way too much shit. Yep. And it shouldn't be the job of the referees to cater to the superstars or to try to right whatever perceived wrong they think exists out there. Their job is to be judicial, to, call things fairly and enforce them uniformly. And you see guys in the NBA, and it's like they're not calling any fouls. It's like like I said, it's like the Italian stock market. You'd have to be a fool to invest in the Italian stock market unless you were an insider.
Yeah,
because there's no SEC, not anything that means anything. You're basically investing money on faith if you put it in the Italian stock market, because there's no rules. I didn't actually realize this until I was thinking, I wanted to invest in an Italian company. I started looking at it and going, wait a second. This does not sound like a place for, John Q. Public to be putting their money.
No,
this is all like Berlusconi nonsense. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, you got to know that market. You have to know the equities that trade down there. You can make a lot of money in foreign stock markets, but you really do have to have your homework done going in.
I think it's worse
only
than
by
that.
value,
because their thumb is on the scale. Unless you are part of their club and they know you and respect you and will deal with you straight, you're going to get screwed on the Italian stock market. And there's going to be no recourse for you.
Yeah,
certainly not as John Q. Public in the U.S.
Italian companies have a bad habit of when they start to make money, they suddenly devise a preferred set of shares that come out and are convertible for their best friends into lots and lots of stock. That's what pisses everybody off.
Yep. You're not disproving anything I said. Yeah, there needs to be rules and there needs to be guidelines. Let's see, the free bastard. If you have enough Jews, you can do what you want. Well, I mean, maybe. It's very useful to have a lot of Jews around. I've always found them to be very useful. And they could control the weather, allegedly, too. I actually joked with Functional about that because that's one of those weird Jewish stereotypes, right? That the Jews control the weather. So I think last week I said, can you tell me why your people do that? It's always fun because we get fake outrage out of him. At least I think it's fake.
It is fake. It's good natured. Jews are accustomed. Most of them are thick-skinned and accustomed to, having fun being made of some aspect of Judaism or that. I have a lot of Jewish friends. I've always had a lot of Jewish friends, or at least since high school. I went to Northwestern, which is, when I went there, was nearly 40% Jewish.
Yeah.
And I found that it was very interesting going to a school where I was surrounded by 40% of the kids who were smart as hell Ashkenazi kids who missed getting into, Harvard or Oxford by, a scintilla. And wound up at Northwestern. I found them some of the most interesting, passionate, and ultimately accomplished people I'd ever met.
Well, I do need to put a little asterisk in there. This, to them or anybody in this country who thinks that they get to have their own judicial system with their own weird little religious courts, it's like, no, the Jews don't get it, and neither does anybody else. No. Just go pound sand.
So how do you feel about the Sharia courts that are
do you even
going
need
up
to
in
ask? Because
Detroit and Minneapolis.
I don't want the Jews doing it, and I don't want the Sharia courts. No, none of it.
Now these are just civil arrangements where they're not really courts, but where what you say is, I agree that the imam will be the arbitrator, and I agree to abide by his decision. You sign that contract, you make a legal contract, and then you call it a court. They call it a Sharia court and tell them it's to abide by it. That's what's going on with the Somalis in Minnesota, and with the Arabs and Palestinians who are Arabs, basically Jordanians, living in Detroit and Hamtramck, some of those places around there.
Well, I'm going to hazard a guess that some people are coerced to be part of these agreements, and that also some people are affected by these agreements who are not signatories to these agreements.
Absolutely.
And I'm dancing around a lot of very ugly things with the language that I'm using.
Yes.
So, no. Hell no. No. Forget that.
It's an abomination. You do not.
It's an abomination. There's one legal system, and everybody needs to be equal under the law. America may have all sorts of problems, but we do some things really well, at least when we live up to our own principles.
Somebody who is coerced into that system might have a very big action against somebody who coerced them. Just saying, legally, it could be a problem.
Would you like to see something cool? See, I know this will actually start a conversation with you, so I can bring this out.
Okie doke.
Okay. 3 people from U.S. base in Antarctica evacuated in high-risk rescue operation, nothing short of heroic. So apparently, there were 3 people who had medical problems at one of our stations down in Antarctica. Mm-hmm. And the weather was not cooperative. The New Zealanders sent one of their C-130 Hercules down there in shit weather to get those people out, to basically save them from dying in Antarctica.
C-130 is your boy, though.
Well, everybody who goes down there, well, I mean, we do fly a couple other planes down there, but the C-130 is the workhorse of the Antarctic expedition.
Yeah.
It's amazing that they can do that. But I mean, good on the people from New Zealand. Okay, 3 people needed medical care, were evacuated from an American research base in Antarctica. New Zealand's Air Force says during a perilous rescue operation carried out in freezing temperatures and 24-hour darkness. Yeah. These are not conditions one wants to fly or land in.
No. My niece was a supervisor at that station and has wintered over there 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And she's they're have a lot of very impressive people down there. She's very impressive young. young woman.
It's dark,
Young 40-year-old.
and it's winter, and it's Antarctica, and they flew there to get these people out because they needed to. Yeah.
Fucking balls.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just such a baller thing, and if you don't think it is, it's because you just don't know. Officials said a U.S. team at the base had to manually create a runway and ensure the ice was groomed and suitable for landing in Antarctica's perpetual winter darkness and sub-zero temperatures. After a detailed analysis of the weather and conditions of the airfield, the New Zealand Air Force crew with a doctor on board used night vision goggles to carry out the mission.
Probably cannot land heavy, probably with just enough fuel to abort and get back.
You did everything you could possibly do to increase the chances of mission success.
Man.
Because otherwise, some other group of heroes has to fly in there and save your ass.
That's truth.
I mean, you know, this is another POB award right here. This is, you know,
the U.S. does this, though. The U.S. flies jets into that area and does this sort of thing too,
but not typically in the middle of winter. This is definitely an emergency thing.
Definitely not in winter.
Yeah,
but it's not uncommon for them to have planes come in.
Well, that's how everything gets there.
They call it wintering over is when everything shuts down.
Yeah, that's when typically you're not going anywhere.
You don't go outside.
Yeah,
you simply don't go outside. If you do, it's to transition from one building to another.
They have telescopes. They have telescopes there.
I know. It almost makes your hands tremble, doesn't it, Harry?
Yeah. Think about
the clarity.
Well, in the lesser conditioned parts of the station, there's this frost, almost like the frost that builds up in your freezer, and it's just from human exhalation. That's all it is. It's just the humans that walk in, them breathing out. Just enough moisture builds up over time to create inches and inches of frost on the inside of like the bays where they keep the vehicles and stuff. It's I think it's hard to wrap your head around what it's like unless you've actually overwintered there.
That's the truth. I mean, it really they have quite a system for maintaining that base.
And
she was kind of in the logistics part of it, so she was
and still less hostile to human organisms than outer space or Mars. All these people are like, oh, we need to go live on Mars. It's like, you first.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, no.
And there are problems with Mars, but there are going to be problems with anything. We're going to have to. If we're going to these places, and I'm not sure that's ideal. We may find that it's easier to build structures and live out in space and use raw materials from the planets to keep them happening than it is to terraform. That may be true for hundreds and hundreds of years while we develop our space jobs.
Well, the NASA is doing, all the different parts of NASA individually and NASA collectively is doing its damnedest to try to appear useful, productive, and relevant all the time. So one of the latest things they did was the people who run the Perseverance rover put together this ginormous panorama of the Martian landscape. That blue sky is false color, just to make things more visible. But this,
it's practically like Montana. Come on down.
Yeah. But this is just a snippet of it. You want to live there? I mean, it's staggeringly beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Up until the point you're dead, you can just take in this vista untouched by human hands. This is like that kind of unworldly beauty that you get because it's just so stark. But live there? No. No. The moon would be bad enough. And that's only bearable because you can go, if I need to, I can go back over there, that blue thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Home's right there. That's the only reason the moon is of any interest at all.
And here's the true color image of it. But they're just putting out stuff as fast as they can. Like, look at us. We're still relevant. And I mean, I'm a big NASA simp. Don't get me wrong. So here's another cool thing. So we talked about the Parker Solar Probe. right? How it's just doing these gravity assists between Mercury, Venus, and the sun, and it's just going faster and faster and closer to the surface of the sun. So in its last pass, we got this image, a portion of what the Parker Solar Probe saw in its closest passage ever. Look at that filament structure in the photosphere. That's close.
Man,
you are
that is-
close.
That is awesome. When you see that from that perspective, oh my gosh, you are in the shit.
And it's going so goddamn fast at this point.
Was that inside? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, here's the video. Look at
was
this.
it doing 0.2% of the speed of light?
I haven't worked out the math.
I think that's what it is.
But I mean, for human stuff, this is amazing. Yeah, we're just scooting right through the top layer of the sun with this probe.
Is awesome.
Can't get this kind of data by sitting on your ass at home.
No kidding.
Yeah. And you're not going to get it from manned spaceflight either. This is definitely why we have space probes.
Wonder if there's any alpha radiation up there.
There are claims in chat that Elon Musk comes from Mars. That might explain his accent. No, that's not true. Yeah,
might explain his mating habits.
So Green Badger is saying not enough trees for me. Yeah, I honestly feel like my general rule is I don't want to live any place where there are more people than trees per square mile. I don't mind people, but I need some damn trees. I mean, that's
I need some damn atmosphere.
Well, yeah, and some water.
Yeah.
And an ionosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
all the things.
Yeah.
We're both greedy that way.
Field.
Yeah. Magnetic field.
Nice.
All right. Well, anyway, you see, but this is okay because this is like cool. And how the hell can you shut up about something this cool? I love this.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
All right. So this is fun. Speaking of Italy, world's longest suspension bridge approved on earthquake fault line. Well, we need to build a bridge. Okay. The bridge goes right here. The longest suspension bridge in the world is what they're trying to build. And it's going to link the island of Sicily with the mainland of Italy. This is an engineering project. This is this isn't some, tiny thing. This is going to cost so much money.
This is Italy's ego. Let me just tell you, that's what this is all about. This is not necessary. The ferries that exist be plentiful and do a fine job, more than what anybody needs. They do not need to do this, but this is Italy saying, we want to make sure everybody knows Sicily is a part of Italy.
So,
the Italian ego.
Okay, so here's my challenge for you. You've given me the hot take. Can you steel man the argument for the bridge?
Well, let's take a look at what it links. I really think that's the answer. Oddly enough, I was just looking at something in Italy. I was actually looking at the place where Mussolini was gunned down near Como, Italy. And so if we jump out of Como and head back down to where were we looking at? That's on the top of the. So the neighborhoods that are going to be linked are, I think, maybe not important. Okay, no, this is about road linkage. That's what this is. I'll bet this thing goes to. I'll bet it links to the road, the San Michele, which is the big town in that area.
Okay.
Okay. So all right. Let's see. We have little coastal fishing and tourist towns. That's what's happening on Sicily right there. Very different thing happening in Italy. This is not tourist country down here. This is farming kind of stuff. Maybe it's a there may be some local distribution things that make this a good idea. That the way whatever is happening in Sicily, I have to speculate. It's hard to say. That's the good part of Sicily. That's the thing. That's the touristy. It's Messina. It's got all the interesting stuff. It's got everything but Etna. It's got beautiful mountains. It's got the vineyards and all that stuff, and it's got a coast that's kind of like the Riviera, and you can drive along. It's gorgeous. That north coast of Sicily, right there. So, I would guess this is about bringing more tourists to Sicily, more tourism to Sicily. That's probably the if I was going to say, Messina is beautiful. How come Messina doesn't have enough tourists? That's what's going on.
Well, we talked about they wanted to build this railway line that goes from Santa Cruz to Monterey. And they're saying it's going to cost $4 billion to do that, which of course is a laughable amount of money for what this is going to do. From
Santa Cruz to Monterey.
Yeah, $4 billion. $4 billion, Skip. So they're claiming that they're going to build this for $15.8 billion. There is not a snowball's chance in hell that this is going to be completed for less than double that. This is the largest suspension bridge in the world. They're going to have to build it to withstand problems because it's built on top of an earthquake fault. This is just not going to happen. This is not going to happen for $15.8 billion.
Well, the Mediterranean is a placid, shallow tub of water. It does not have the, terrible seas that the North Atlantic has.
Yeah.
But there are parts, and they tend to be parts where the land comes close to another big piece of land, and there's a narrow channel of water to go through where the currents are insane and some of the roughest water in the Mediterranean, and that's what they will be going over. That's where they're going to build their bridge.
I find myself drawn to this picture of Aliyah Brahimi, except for the fact that, because this looks like a Raquel Welch kind of headshot. So I kind of want to see, but I realize this article is going to piss me off. A Palestinian state is important, but no substitute for ending atrocities. See, so I'm really torn at this point because I want to see what's going on with this woman in her headshot, but at the same time, I don't feel like being annoyed by this article. Okay, I'm gonna be a proper grown-ass adult and not click on the pretty thumbnail. Nope. Be gone, Aliyah. Just be gone. Here, we'll just make that go away. Here's a nice picture of the sun. Yeah. Forget you and your honey trap headshot that you got. Just stop.
It looks like it looks like cigarette smoke, doesn't it?
It does. There should be somebody playing some jazz music in the background. That's what it is. It's the Soul Club. Exactly. All right, shut up, Harry. Okay.
Rinky tink piano in the background.
Okay, how about this? How about this? Some people have, here, I'm going to play the video and then I'll tell you about it.
We just made history. Together, we've just signed the final contracts and paid in full, ahead of schedule, to complete the acquisition of the whole of Commodore Corporation BV and all 47 original Commodore trademarks, the oldest dating back to 1983. Pardon me. And it all...
Yeah, so this group of guys decided we really love the Commodore 64 and the games and the culture and stuff, so they put together a fundraiser and they got a bunch of money together, and they bought all of the trademarks to the old Commodore company.
It means that Commodore is finally in the hands of those who truly care, the community and the original employees. And we did this for every one of you, for your parents,
a Tramiel,
for whoever grew up with Commodore lighting up their imagination.
So you may say, okay, so what does this actually mean? Well, what it means is they are using field programmable gate arrays, FPGAs, to basically mimic the hardware. And of course, they're updating it. So you will be able to, for the first time in a very long time, be able to buy something that functions as a Commodore 64 that also has Wi-Fi and other things so you can load programs like a normal human being and not have to deal with a tape drive. So this group of men who just love this thing. And Jerry Ellsworth, who's a famous YouTube electrical person. I don't know. How do you describe Jerry Ellsworth? Do you know her?
No, I don't know her. I know a lot of people like her.
She, as a woman who did basically did a change in her life and pivoted into becoming an electrical engineer. She produces actually really good content. Very, very smart, fantastic presenter, great YouTube channel. But anyway, yeah. So these guys have put their money where their mouth is, and they're going to be selling these things starting at $299. I don't think they're going to set the world on fire or make a ton of money, but I appreciate the hustle.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
I predict it won't work. Fortunately, I just don't see any market for this. The market is there, but it's not. It's not excited for this. There's no big demand for this. This is a vanity novelty item, and it will be very satisfying for the few people who buy it. They'll love this. They'll cherish it.
Yeah.
And mostly it won't be bought.
Well, are they going to... I think they're going to try to tie into sort of the anti-distraction people, where we're just sort of say, hey, you want something simple? Here's a computer where you can play games that literally doesn't have all of those things that annoy you. No gotcha games, no people trash talking you on headsets, none of this sort of stuff. It is really just a big nostalgia play, but you can do things so much more cheaply than you used to be able to, Skep.
Yeah.
You can just have plastic stuff made up. You can have the keys made up. You can, using the FPGA, which is basically, for people who don't know, an FPGA is a thing that you literally can program it to behave like whatever kind of circuit or device you want it to behave like. So it's like a generic thing that you just say, here, be a Commodore 64. They're not going to have to make custom circuit boards or, well, not a lot of custom stuff. But the modern technology makes it a lot easier to do this. So what if they don't take over the world? They took something that didn't make anything and they're going to make 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000 people happy. But
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I think it's wonderful that they're doing it.
This is a passion
I wish
project.
them all the success.
This is just a passion project. Yeah,
absolutely. And I love this. This shows me people have heart. People like this deserve to succeed.
Actually, I haven't looked at this video. Let's look at this video for a moment.
Yeah.
When I think of you.
Okay, that's just annoying. You can just stop.
I remember my first 4-bit computer.
Yeah.
As an CR.
I almost wish they were doing the Amiga, though, instead of the Commodore 64. You know, the Amiga was the thing that came after that, and that was like a 2 megabyte, 68,000, a competitor to the early Macintoshes, which were massively overpriced for what they were able to do. And the Amiga is actually where a lot of the graphics were done for Babylon 5. See, Functional should be sad now that he's not here to talk about that.
Yes.
He probably just overslept or something. He's got a lot of crap he's got to do.
I think he probably overslept.
Overslept, absolutely. No, I think this is cool. All right, well, I'm not going to belabor this point anymore. Let me see. How about this super fun scam? You know that old saying, Skep, where they say anything that's too good to be true usually is?
It's too good to be true. Yeah.
Okay. So, popular hard drive vendor on Amazon caught selling 10-year-old used but repackaged hard drives. Okay, so you go on Amazon and go, I'm going to get a new hard drive, and it's super cheap. What these bastards actually did was they took super old hard drives, like the kind you'd harvest out of somebody's old DVR that they didn't want anymore, right? I mean, this is just old shit.
Yep.
And they went in and used the tools that you can use to basically zero out all the error counts. They wrote zeros over just the information for the partition. All the user data is still there from whoever owned this thing before.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they just slapped it in a container, put it up on Amazon for an unbelievable price, and then people bought these things. Performance, no. Reliability,
Who are you kidding?
This thing's already ready
It's
to be put
broken
out to
once.
pasture.
Already been broken.
Yeah. Hard drives sold as new contain decades-old internals from previously used Seagate and Western Digital units. Smart data was manipulated to hide prior usage, masking serious mechanical and/or read error issues. A Tingo analysis revealed leftover user data proving zeroing only touched the start of storage sectors. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you
Well
seen,
done.
I don't know if you've seen any of these, but people are selling USB keys
Mhm.
that look like, oh, I'm going to buy a 64-bit USB thumb drive.
Mhm.
And then you take this thing apart and you realize it's really more like a 1 gigabyte device that has hardware on it that makes it mimic. It's like you say, oh, thumb drive, how big are you? I'm 64 gigs. It's a 1 gig device. And as soon as you fill it up, it just fails. Oh, I guess it failed. There's so much of this fraudulent crap on eBay, and some of it's on Amazon and other places like Alibaba. It's like if you buy data storage from somebody and you don't have some reason to believe that they're legit and the price is just way too good to be true, you're just asking for it.
You know, it's funny. I can actually remember having conversations with people back in 1980, 81. And we talked about, someday people talk about having megabytes of data. There'll be millions of bytes of data. We talked like that back then.
Yeah.
Nah, there's no need for that. people would speculate. No. There's no need to have a hard drive that's larger than 10 megabits. 10
My first hard drive was 10 megabytes. It cost me $1,000. And I was happy. I was happy to have it. So Green Badger's saying not a synthwave fan. No, I actually like synthwave a lot, probably more than is healthy. I don't know why. It just amuses the crap out of me. Synthwave is fine. That particular synthwave, it was the voiceover with the synthwave that was irritating me. And also, I don't want to get caught using somebody else's musical stuff when I'm not supposed to. No, synthwave is cool. Very nostalgic. I really did enjoy the 80s and the 90s quite a bit until a lot of that style kind of veered off into that Miami Vice sort of thing. Like, I like all the retro stuff, but something about Miami Vice and all of the flamingos and weird neon just kind of didn't do it for me. I never liked the vibe of Miami Vice. I guess I'm the only one.
No, there was always something kind of trashy about that show. And you heard about Don Johnson's antics on the set. It didn't sound like a bunch of very happy people.
Well, on the other hand, I think Nash Bridges, which took place later and is set in San Francisco, I think that's a great show.
Mm-hmm.
I love Nash Bridges. It's great. And Cheech Marin of Cheech and Chong, you wouldn't think that he would class the place up, but he absolutely did.
Absolutely did.
There were so many people that did so well on Nash Bridges. Nash Bridges, one of my favorite shows.
I haven't thought about that show in years.
Great show. There's a bunch of little shows that people have forgotten about. A lot of these sort of, was it Carlton Cuse was the guy? I think he put together Nash Bridges. But The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr.
Yeah, Briscoe County Jr.
That was like a one-season show. And didn't that have, what's his name, Bruce Campbell in it? Or am I confusing that with a different one?
Don't get me in a line.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. We'll do this some other time when we've got more people to type in search terms. We want to get bogged down in this sort of stuff. But yeah, buy cheap stuff. Just caveat emptor when you're buying tech.
By the way.
Yeah,
it was Bruce Campbell. Yep.
And I think I got the producer right, Carlton Cuse.
And let's see who was produced by. The producer created by Jeffrey Boehm, Carlton Cuse.
Yep. And Nash Bridges was also Carlton Cuse, wasn't it?
I think.
Just checking to make sure my brain isn't turning into mush as we speak.
And let's see. In 84, Hughes turned up with a Harvard classmate and made a documentary about rowing at Harvard called Power 10. He convinced actor, writer, and fellow Harvard graduate George Plimpton, remember him?
Yep.
Semi-tough, to narrate the film. After graduating, Hughes headed for Hollywood and worked as an assistant to a studio head, then as a script reader. By working as a reader, he gained insight into what made good scripts work. In 84, he took a job working as an assistant producer for Bernard Schwartz and spent a year and a half working on Sweet Dreams, starring Jessica Lange and Ed Harris. And he said, that was my film school.
Nice.
Interesting cat. I'm trying to see. Did he do Nash Bridges? Accused to? Yeah, there was 1996. I forgot that was 96.
He made really fun TV. That's the thing. He knew he wasn't making fine art. He was just making TV that was fun to watch.
I had Briscoe County and Nash Bridges almost reversed as far as years.
That's okay.
Yeah, I thought Nash Bridges was in the beginning of the 90s. I thought that's what I remembered.
So let's talk about some French farmers. Now this has gone around. Now I originally sent this to Geodes and then he posted it in the Discord. So you guys have already seen it. But I do love this story. So I think it was like a bunch of Romani or something that decided to just take up residence in a farmer's field as they were just passing through. And the French farmers would have none of it. So they went out and just started spraying liquefied manure around the area where all the people were squatting. Or I should just say camping illegally. This video is fantastic. I love this. Oh, video unavailable. Well, forget that then.
Go to home.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, imagine here's a word picture, these trucks driving around and then people trying to go up to them and open the door and make them stop. And the French farmers are like, nope, it's merde time. And they just drove around and just dumped a bunch of stuff.
C'est la merde pour vous,
and
monsieur.
This smells so bad. Those of you who have not been around agriculture, this is a heady mixture. This is basically poop. This is poop tea is what this is. It's
poop
bad.
Tea with high phosphorus.
Plants love this stuff.
Yeah, plants love this stuff. And
plants love this stuff.
Cannot stand the smell of this stuff.
But squatters, not so much. And good job, French farmers. That's the nice thing about the French farmers is they won't just sit and take it. I mean, we make fun of the French all the time, but French farmers are definitely a tough breed. They will not put up with any crap.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a good job, French farmers. Sorry, I don't have video of that.
Yeah.
YouTube. Okay. Now you're a person who cares about grammar. I know. I mean, I literally have a copy of Strunk and White next to my bed. It's on the little book stand that has like the Federalist Papers, Strunk and White, and a handful of other things. Those are the books that are within easy reach that aren't on tiny computer. Okay. But I still struggle with it, but I do remember the Oxford comma. It's like, thing A, thing, comma, thing B, comma, thing C, comma, and thing D. Right. That last trailing comma before the and.
It's the Oxford comma.
It's the Oxford comma. And weirdly, the only place Oxford didn't do a very good job of getting people in the UK to actually use it. Because in the UK, they really don't use the Oxford comma outside of Oxford. Whereas in the US, they really do actually embrace it in most style guides.
Let me say this about that.
Okay.
We were taught to use the Oxford comma in my little English school in Belgium when I was growing up.
That's not the UK, though.
No, but it's a UK school. It was all UK teachers. They all were born and raised in the UK.
They probably all went to Oxford.
They actually, our headmaster was an Oxford graduate, and there were several Oxford graduates on the staff there.
Well, now that I've beaten the introduction to that to death, let me present you with the following magazine cover. Okay, so this is Tales magazine. We see Rachel Ray holding a dog, and it says "Eat, Ray, love." Eat, Ray, love at the top, And then
She
underneath,
cooked her family and her dog.
they ran out of commas, apparently. They didn't have any more commas to use, and so they just wrote the folling sentence. I'm reading it as is. Rachel Ray finds inspiration in cooking her family and her dog.
She cooked her family and her dog. What possesses people to write sentences?
He eats, shoots, and leaves.
Yeah, throw the baby out the window, a bottle.
Yeah. Come on, people. I mean, even AI is probably going to be better at copy editing than this stuff. This is terrible.
Cooked her family and her dog.
I didn't know that Rachel Ray was that much of a savage that she would cook her family and her dog.
Poaching the pooch, as it were.
Anyway, just a little
Fillet of family.
Grammar-based jocularity there.
Yes.
So, there's a little, a YouTube channel that only has a few hundred subscribers. And I occasionally like watching content from channels that aren't particularly big, because anybody can watch stuff that's got hundreds of thousands of views and stuff. So I watch a bunch of these things, and it's usually this guy saying something terrible just to get a rise out of his wife, and then content is made. It's not super sophisticated, but I'm amused by this sort of thing.
You know, guys, the key to a happy marriage is to clearly communicate your needs.
I love
to
the
one
music.
Another. So the next time you clearly need to watch the game on TV without your wife scrolling with the volume all the way up, do this. Simply stand up, exit the house swiftly. Set a timer on your watch for 37 seconds. Upon returning, and this is key, you must.
I love her reaction in the background.
This will kick in her nosy instincts, and she will ask you why you went outside. You will then inform her that the neighbor across the street 4 doors down is apparently cheating. Her instincts will not allow her to stay in the house. She will then exit, trying to figure out the story. This will give you ample time to lock her out, and you can finish watching the game in peace.
Oh my gosh!
Write that down.
So he just does this all the time. It's like, good job, dude. This is Steve Wiltz, Wiltz. I don't know. I find this disproportionately funny.
Well,
I really shouldn't engage in stereotypes.
You're not laughing at the joke. The joke's not that funny.
Yeah.
You're laughing at the attitude, laughing at his sardonic attitude, and his manner is just perfect.
Yeah,
his tone is just perfect.
And I love that music too. It's sort of
the
like
music is great.
I expect
I like
Sarah McLachlan to show up and ask like for money to feed puppies or something. You know, it's just it's right there. It's right on point. Write this down. He always ends with his tagline of "Write this down." It's fine. I think the fact that she seems to be a pretty good sport about it. Since it's not a huge channel, it just feels a little more organic. I absolutely hate these couples channels typically where they'll like do pranks on each other and oh god, just the lowest content on YouTube.
Or
the
something
couples prank
obviously
channels.
staged that they're trying to sell as not being spontaneous.
Yeah,
that bothers me. Don't try and sell me.
Yeah,
don't try and fool me.
Yeah, don't do that. So the nice people at Hackaday put together a guide, a gentle introduction to Fortran.
All right.
People have no clue what Fortran was. Fortran was formula translation. It's like, I got math to do, and I would like this computer to do it for me because numbers are hard. So you write a program in Fortran, and Fortran still exists. People don't realize this. There are still to this day people who write scientific programs in Fortran. Not as many as there used to be, but there are people who still do it. And what's beautiful about Fortran is the way you create loops working through different algorithms. It parallelizes really beautifully. The compiler is able to say, oh, I'll hand off the different parts of this to different CPU cores. So if you have something that's got 1,000 CPU cores in a parallel cluster, that Fortran oftentimes just magically works really, really well on it.
Well,
Super old language.
The Hayes compiler, that 24-bit weirdo machine, that's a Fortran compiler. They developed it just for Fortran.
Mhm.
Before Fortran was the first, and is it the only computer course I've ever taken? Yes, I took a kind of a survey course in business school, but other than that, I've only ever had one computer course, Harry. I've only ever had Introduction to Fortran. I took a course in Fortran 4. The final exam was a quadratic solution that mine no-opt on like the second step the first time I submitted, the 58th step the second time, the third time it ran.
Mm-hmm. And you were submitting this on punch cards.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you have to repunch all the cards. You know that.
But I think this little bit of nostalgia is good. And honestly, if you care about computers and stuff, take the time to learn a little bit about a language, even if you're not going to use it. It's just good to to learn about stuff. There are functional programming languages that are really interesting. There's all kinds of programming languages.
But anyway, my point is, Fortran 4, it did not have string handlers.
Well, that's not what it was designed for.
No,
you're not going to create a web server in Fortran. It's designed to solve mathematical problems.
By 1977, you could.
Yeah.
By FTNX 77 had it. So anyway.
Well, I'm a C person.
You can use Fortran about like C. There are libraries out there that allow you to use Fortran syntax to basically execute what is essentially.
Well, somebody ported Doom to a PostScript interpreter on a printer. So, if you're smart enough and you've got enough time on your hands, anything is possible.
Right, exactly.
But anyway, if you are curious about vintage stuff and you just want to like wrap your head around something different, take a look at Fortran. It's on Hackaday. And if you already know Fortran or something, take a look at Haskell or Lisp or
Lisp is what I want to.
Doing hard things is good for you. That's all I'm going to say. Doing things that you suck at is really good for your body. It's really good for your brain. I spent
a year teaching myself Lisp.
I think I just realized talking to you, I've actually taught more programming and IT classes than I've ever taken.
So by far.
Yeah. Funny how that works.
By far.
And do you want to see something grossly inappropriate? Just say yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to say it lasciviously.
Okay, sorry. This is one of my duckies is broken.
Oh, that's wrong.
That is so wrong. That is such a horrible stereotype.
Oh,
that people of color don't know how to change the batteries in their smoke alarms.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, they accuse us of not having rhythm and liking mayonnaise too much. Come on.
Ghetto music?
I don't know. It's the ceiling bird.
I think that's actually the ceiling bird.
The ceiling bird. I love it. I feel better. I mean, it's terrible, but
it happens.
Yeah, one of my duckies is broken.
That is one thing I cannot stand. That is a hot button item with me. We occasionally have a chirp, and I get the ladder and go. We have really high ceilings in this house, and it's a real pain in the ass to get all the way up there and change the thing. But it always pisses me off because I got to go out and get that fucking extension ladder.
Yep. Let's see. Okay, so there's this article from a while ago. Tomatoes randomly mated with another plant 9 million years ago. The result, potatoes. This intuitively doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that you would go from something in the nightshade family to a tuber. But this is the claim in live science. Does this...
I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all, Harry. This is the opposite of what?
Yeah.
Random mating between wild tomato plants and a potato-like species. Okay, the potato-like species probably was something that was related to tomatoes in the first place. Yeah.
Together with 107 extant wild potato species, the cultivated potatoes we know today belong to the lineage Petota. New research
Yeah.
suggests that this lineage or group of closely related species emerged from interbreeding between ancestors of two other lineages, tomato, which consists of 17 living species, including the salad essential Shemp, and don't care, which has 3 other living species.
Tuberosum.
Yeah, I can't do it. From an evolutionary perspective, we have an unresolved disagreement in the relationships between tomato, patata, and this other thing. Yeah. These just seem so incredibly disparate that I'm trying to imagine how they would even be able to interbreed.
I would have to see some really compelling stuff behind this to believe this.
It sounds delicious, though. That's the important
Yes,
thing.
that sounds amazing. But
tomato, potato, let's call the whole thing off.
A fruit becoming a starch, and that doesn't make sense to me. I'm trying to figure out how the starch stuff gets made by something that's made to make fruit stuff, and that's a fruit machine doesn't make starch.
That's
stuff.
why I've got it filed under nature with 3 question marks. Okay. Yeah, I don't understand this.
It's a weirdness. But you know, mutation's funny. Yeah.
Okay, so you're familiar with Chateau Marmont, the place, the very famous place in Hollywood, or maybe you've heard of it. Well, there's been a rumor, like forever, that there's a secret tunnel underneath Chateau Marmont that leads to other places, and for the longest time, people essentially denied it and said, "No, there's no secret tunnel. No, of course there's no secret tunnel. Why would there be a secret tunnel?"
Well, because the gay guys wanted to go over to the bathhouse.
Well, it was more than that. This is where all the famous people were. It was basically like the Bohemian Grove, but in a house where famous people from Hollywood would hang out. No photos, no press, no nothing. They go in there and they do whatever it is they're going to do, whatever rich, famous Hollywood weirdos decide they're going to do. So it says the club's owner, Preston Sturgis, was a bon vivant who first tasted success on Broadway before coming to LA, intent on creating a lavish nightclub that would be the envy of the world. In 1939, Sturgis bought a bungalow on Sunset Boulevard, which formerly housed a wedding chapel just down the hill from Chateau. He then did a top-to-bottom renovation that saw the building become a multi-level entertainment complex. Did he really? When it opened the following year, the Players initially had a drive-in restaurant on its first floor, a dining room with live bands in the middle, and a swanky restaurant serving French food in the upper level. So, let's see, Sturgis made a point to quickly to add quirky touches to the Players, including false walls, an interior barbershop, and even a revolving bandstand so that several bands could play simultaneously in, yada, yada, yada. So, legend held that in the construction project, Sturgis built a tunnel inside his raucous haunt. That way, he and his glitzy guests could sneak in and out and to other rarefied space just up the way, the Chateau, undetected by the public and the law alike. Many romantic rendezvous were said to have happened inside the secret tunnel. It turns out there is a secret tunnel.
Can you imagine my shock?
I know. It's funny how all of these urban legends, or so many of them, end up being true. Mm-hmm. The urban legend is just some MK Ultra smoke and mirrors BS to get people to stop asking questions. Well, is there a secret tunnel underneath your shop so that people can do debauched things in various locations and come and go without people seeing it? No. You'd have to be a conspiracy theorist to believe that.
Right.
You're not a conspiracy theorist, are you? You're not going to say such libelous and terrible things without any proof, are you? No. Yeah, but then it turns out, there was a tunnel.
It's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they have any pictures? Tunnel?
Sorry.
No pictures of the tunnel?
No. The secret Chateau Players tunnel was discovered only recently and by accident. Back in 2012, the late owner of the now shuttered Pink Taco restaurant, Harry Morton, was renovating the former player space when crews stumbled upon its remnants, proving a long-rumored story to be unexpectedly true. Unfortunately, the tunnel wasn't accessible as the city of Los Angeles had sealed it up back at some point. But the point is, the tunnel was there. And that's all that matters. And
good times.
I'm surprised somebody got away with naming this restaurant the Pink Taco. But be that as it may. Hollywood is a weird place full of weird people.
No question about that.
No question about that.
No question about that.
Here's another thing that's not going to surprise you. They raised a bunch of money for the wildfire victims in Los Angeles, the fire that happened at the beginning of the year. Raised $100 million. And people right now are going, where the hell did all that money go? It
went to lots of agencies, some of which are not even in the United States.
Yeah.
All that money's been spent, by the way.
Yeah.
All that money has been dispersed. And what is it? 6 permits have been permitted? Are they up to 13 or something like that now?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's Adam Carolla. I've covered some of his stuff, and it's just not happening. So they got all these stars together. They did this thing, and have any actual people received any benefit from this concert? No. Yeah, the money is just, where is the money? Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
The performers feel so good about doing something for these poor people.
Yeah.
That at least that good was done. At least they felt good about themselves.
Yeah, that's the important thing, right?
Isn't that really what's important here?
Yeah, you didn't see the French farmers asking for farm aid. Nope.
No.
And stop making me say nice things about the French. That's the thing. That just doesn't even feel right. Okay. Yeah, where the hell is the money? Yeah, nobody's got any money. I mean, it's not like they're in a hurry to go home, right? A house burned down, 6 months later, nothing. Or it's been 7 months now, right? It's just terrible.
Well, and let me tell you that mayor of Los Angeles, she just does not care. She just says, "Oh, they're rich people. Go fuck themselves."
The future mayor of New York is going to be even worse than her, because at least she's a sophisticated political being. He's a former DJ who's never accomplished anything.
Yeah, no, she's going to look like John Lindsay compared to this asshole.
Yeah, we're going to have government-run supermarkets. It's going to be great.
And they're not going to charge for food. You need food? It's all free. Yeah. What if I march in there and just take all the food? Can I do that? No. That's politically unsatisfactory. We'll shoot you. That's a political crime.
Yep.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we fucking go.
Here we go. Ah, good times.
What happened to the...
Let's see. This I need to save for functional.
The good old days weren't all that good.
So how about this? AI industry horrified to face largest copyright class action ever certified. Good. Because basically, a bunch of these AI companies are around and used a bunch of stuff that they had no right using to inform their models. And this is going to be a big deal, potentially. I mean, maybe it'll just fizzle out, but I don't think it is. There's so much money and power involved in this that I can't imagine this isn't going to go somewhere.
Oh, they'll go after this, and there will have to be some kind of new, regulation law protecting the AI companies who go out and try to, build up an AI and using publicly available materials.
Well, the typical thing they'll do is they'll come up with something like, you don't have standing, right? But that's not going to work this time. They clearly have standing. You stole shit from us. We have standing.
Did they steal it?
Interesting.
Did they steal it?
Okay. You're right. It's sloppy of me to use that term. If you ask an AI, say, generate some picture of a beautiful woman for the cover of my new book, right? And it produces this thing. And you look at it and go, it looks a lot like Scarlett Johansson. Give me another one that doesn't look like Scarlett Johansson. It's like, okay, then it ends up looking like some other famous person, right? So it's kind of like the question is, if you come up with a copycat drug that has one molecule that's different, is that a different drug, or is it eligible?
Drug, it's completely.
That's true in the case of drugs, because that's the way the copyright law works here. But for artistic works, we've got people debating lines of music that have very subtle differences in them, That kind of law is completely different for creatives than it is for
let me take a
for like
run
a drug.
at framing this just from a value proposition.
Okay.
If you all right, companies produce knowledge. Let's say they write books, they publish authors, and so forth, and they make this thing, this book, this program, this website, this it's a thing with value that they charge money for. And the way that they traditionally have done business is they charge money for this, and then you can do whatever you want with the fruits of the knowledge that are in there. That's why you buy the book, so you can read the book and become knowledgeable, so you can use that knowledge. In programming and AI, you're buying their book, you're providing their recompense, and you seem to be doing nothing more than reading and consuming it in the same way that an individual would read it and consume it for the increase in value that experience would bring them. Right? You following me, or am I? You there, Harry?
Sorry, I just muted myself because I was drinking. Sorry.
No worry.
I'm sitting here shouting, yes, I follow you.
Oh, okay. so that so in terms of that, how is the AI person not protected simply by buying one copy of the person's intellectual output?
Well, that's why it's going to be a big lawsuit, because it really just depends on which type of stuff we're talking about. So
yeah.
In programming, they're using AI to generate programs. A topic that came up back in, like forever is code reuse. Code reuse. Why not use the same tried, true, tested code as many places as possible to reduce the chance that you're just producing crap? So they would talk about code reuse. Well, how do we have code reuse? Well, we talk about design patterns, meaning many programs work in a very similar way. They have certain types of structures or methods that are similar to each other. So we talk about, well, what do these programs look like in terms of common patterns that we can reuse? And then enters AI. AI reads the books about the design patterns. Next thing you know, AI is coding using said design patterns. It's not really that big a jump to go from that to that. So is everybody who uses a design pattern breaking copyright? No. If you're using an algorithm, though, that's copyrighted and the AI picks up on that, then, oh boy, that actually could be a problem. So it just depends on which stuff AI is ingesting and regurgitating.
What stuff can it not ingest legitimately, according to your model? In other words, what would be something that it would encounter that it could not, that would be not kosher to legally in your scenario? Well,
just to simplify it, if the material that it's ingesting is copyrighted and it's spitting it out without a copyright notice, for instance, and then somebody uses it, that's a problem. So setting aside the can something be copyrighted thing as left as an exercise for the reader, because it depends on which problem domain you're looking at and all sorts of other factors. But just sort of setting that thorny issue aside, if it reads something copyrighted, there we go. So also the other thing is, if somebody's created a work product and somebody isn't supposed to have access to it, even if they're using that to train the AI, why are they not getting some kind of compensation for that? Let me show you another article.
It's very hard to come up with something.
I understand, but let me show you another article that ties into this. So Perplexity is using stealth undeclared crawlers to evade website no-crawl directives. Websites, the way they're set up, you can actually say, I don't want search engines or robots of any kind to go through this stuff.
Keep your fucking crawler away from me.
Keep your damn crawler away from me. And so there's several different ways you do that. It's built into the protocols. And the search engines, these other people supposedly are supposed to honor that. Not sure the mechanics of how and why they're supposed to do that, but they're supposed to. Now, the people at Cloudflare who do DNS lookups are saying, look, it seems pretty obvious that this one particular company, as claimed by Cloudflare, the DNS provider, is completely ignoring the no-crawl directives and going through and having their AI stuff train on all kinds of stuff that's not put out there into the public for that purpose. So they're essentially saying, this is our work. You cannot use it in the following way. We own this. This is ours. Don't do this. And then the AI models go and do it anyway, because AI doesn't listen.
This seems like you would have some kind of cause of action, against Perplexity. I would say, because what they're doing is essentially dishonest.
Yeah, I find some kinds of law to be really interesting, but this intellectual property law is
some of the most interesting.
It's not really interesting to me. It doesn't really.
Think it's fascinating.
It's not really in my wheelhouse, and I know people. I've met people professionally involved in this sort of stuff, and I know a lot about it.
Actually, you knew some people involved in the Franklin case. You bet you even know what I'm talking about.
I don't know about
the
that
Franklin
case.
Computer.
I don't know about that. I wasn't involved with that one. I have done work for law firms before, though, involving things that I obviously can't talk about.
Franklin Computer copied whole computer down to the molecule.
Nice.
And said, sue us. So Apple sued them. And they ate them. They killed them and ate them. Franklin Computer stopped existing one day. And Apple owned all their shit. It's a great story. I wrote a very long paper about that in B-School.
Yeah, if you want to talk about the Apple DRI thing, that is the thing I actually know about. I know about a lot of things, but I don't know that much about the Franklin thing.
Yeah.
So Functional might conceivably join us. Like, I have a couple things that just have his name written all over them. They need to just be set aside for next week when he comes back.
We need a Functional signal and a Serenity signal and a Sora signal so that we can beam them up to
he sent us a message, and he's doing something important that needs to be done. Yeah, okay, so we'll just click those here.
He must have got his latest Playboy.
Yeah, you got to wait for that to come in the mail.
That's right.
It's exciting. Remember when? Remember, you can almost put a point in time when Hugh Hefner went from cool, edgy guy to creepy boat captain. You remember he had like that boat captain hat, and it's just suddenly you're going like, I think some people are spending too much time in the grotto. It's just like, the
whole thing just creeps. That's really creepy.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. All right, so let's look at this. You know how I feel about rodents and rats in particular. Don't like them. Rats. More than 100,000 acres of almond orchards across California are infested. This is a huge financial problem. Okay. Almonds are a massive cash crop in California. And the fact that there are just rats, tons and tons and tons of rats getting into the orchards in the Central Valley.
That's awful.
It is. If only there was something we could do about it.
If only there was an electric trap that worked.
Yeah, if only. Actually, there's one that I use that works pretty well. It's electric. But, rats are definitely a problem. I see these stories and think it's the current year. How is it possible that we haven't solved this problem? But no, scrappy little rodents. They get on ships. They travel the world.
Yep.
There's just not much you can do about the damn things.
And just so ladies and gentlemen of the audience, just in case you think Carrie was kidding about how big a deal almond production is in California. California produces more than 99% of the nation's total output of almonds. There's a little bit of growth in Arizona.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The other 1%.
You're welcome, almond fans. So this is
California
actually
is it for almonds.
Here's another story. This is from the UK, from North Yorkshire. Pest control workers discovered a rat that was said to be over 22 inches long from nose to tail.
I saw that.
Inside a home. Look at the size of Big Chungus there.
Man, that is just unpleasant.
Yeah, that is no bueno.
That's like a dachshund. That's too damn big.
That either needs to become a pet or it needs to leave. That's just way, way, way too much rodent.
Yeah, that's on the other hand, it's a lot of good eating.
Well, I hear that Nutras are pretty good eating.
Nutria. Yeah, Nutria.
Nutria.
Are good. You've got to listen to them bark. My parents had a pond that they were their house bordered on, and it had nutria. And we used to hear these nutria bark all the time. They just don't stop. Nutria.
Yeah. Well, outside one of my customers, there's somebody who's been feeding the cats, and of course it's attracting rats. And I remember working really late a few weeks ago, and I left about 11:30, because I'm lazy. And I could just hear rats in the bushes going, just eating something. And I'm like, look, I'm right here. The least you could do is just stop eating until I walk past and leave, right? But this rat was very blasé. It didn't care. It didn't care about me. It didn't care about my feelings. So I had
dinosaur attitude.
Yeah. So I had, I have these big ass ice cubes that I like to use, and I had my thermos mug with me. So I just started winging. I just started winging these big ice cubes at the rats. It's just
exactly what.
It's like just
exactly what
the most futile thing in the world. Just absolutely no point to it, but it made me feel good. And the rat did shut up until I got on my motorcycle and left.
Yep. Because
screw it.
Yeah, I absolutely would have done that.
Stupid rats. All right, let's see. What else do we have in the inlay spreadsheet here? Oh, a sea lion actually bit somebody in Monterey.
Sea lions sure to attract crowds of people at San Francisco's Pier 39, but they've made additional headlines of late. In Monterey County, this 9-year-old girl was recently...
Look at her, little 9-year-old girl just minding her own business until she got too close to the sea lions and got bit.
Down there by Seaside, where she was.
Yeah.
9-year-old girl was recently attacked by a sea lion at surf camp.
It came up to me, and then it bit me, and then...
Yes, kids, that's a thing we have in California where 9-year-olds go to learn how to surf.
I got, dragged underwater.
Then there are the docks used by boaters, ones that sea lions sometimes like to perch on.
I mean, they look cute, right? Jenna has one as her avatar, doesn't she? And we all think that they're cute and fuzzy and stuff, but sometimes they're assholes and they bite little 9-year-old girls.
They'll kill you.
I'm going to throw an ice cube. I'm going to totally throw an ice cube at the next one I see.
I would do that.
Yeah.
I would definitely do that. It'll intimidate them too.
Yeah. We'll show them who's boss.
Get in the water and challenge them.
Yeah.
That's the thing to do.
You see these dash cam videos, right? And some people are like, oh, you're not going to take my lane. This is my right of way. And then they cause an accident and then they go, oh, but I had right of way. It's like you caused an accident.
No.
But it was my right of way. I had to defend my space. It's like, you're a moron. You're a moron.
No, there's a law. And
there is
a law in every state. And it's a state law in every state.
Yep.
And every state has this law that you are the last person who can avoid an accident. You have a duty of care.
Yep.
To take that action.
You have a legal responsibility to prevent an accident from happening if you can.
If you are the last person.
Yeah.
They call it the last person law.
Yep.
And
no, it's my lane. I had right of way. I'm going to defend my lane and not let anybody push me out of it. Some of those dash cam videos are infuriating. I do
watch them.
There seem to be a lot of people who think it's a good idea to pull in front of a semi and then brake check them.
Oh yeah. If you want to have some fun, look at some of the Russian accident videos.
Oh yeah. The insurance, you mean the Russian insurance fraud videos?
Yes.
Where you stop but don't hit the person and then they just pretend to walk toward the car and then throw themselves on the hood. It's hilarious.
there are those, but there are also some things. There are really some catastrophic things.
Oh yeah,
that are recorded, and there are some very strange things that happen in Russia, and some of those places where years and years of safety regulations have not provided the buffered environment that we live here in the West for those people over there, and it shows.
Yeah. Well, I think
This
they might
happens in
rightfully say
China all
we're
the time, by the
weak.
way.
You know, we're just weak. But those Russian videos, you'll see like a flatbed trailer truck pulling a piece of heavy equipment, and then the piece of heavy equipment isn't secured properly. The road is crap, and then suddenly you see everything just falling off the edge of a cliff. You know, that's like a Russian video.
That's it. Exactly.
I vastly prefer the Russian videos where there's a guy and he's got his arm around a bear and they're both drinking beer out of bottles. You know, it's just me and bear, you know, just drinking. Yeah. You know, this is my best friend, Mr. Bear.
Yeah. Till he gets hungry.
Till he gets hungry. I mean, you can get along with nature sometimes. I'm not recommending it, nor is the Minions. It's just, you know, you just don't know when that one time is going to be when he's going to flip out and then kill you, because he's way, way, way stronger than you are.
Ask that poor guy. What was his name? Treadwell. The guy got ripped apart by a bear. He was always befriending them and, you know, not acting scared with them. And then one of them ate him.
Mm-hmm.
It ate his girlfriend too.
Oopsie.
Yeah.
Oh, there's also this. Speaking of rats, woman receives rabies shot after being bitten by rat.
She
Boston
was walking
streets.
down a street in the Fenway neighborhood when she felt a sharp pain in her ankle and saw a rat scurry away.
Yeah, because Boston is full of rats too, apparently. I just
really
thought it was, what is that? Baltimore. I know Baltimore's full of rats.
Baltimore, Washington, New York City, Brooklyn, Boston, and parts of Detroit are just infested with rats. There are parts of Chicago that used to be infested with rats, and they simply tore all the buildings down in that part of town, and that actually helped with the rats.
I can imagine it would. Hold on a second. I was hearing something. I think it's actually on your end. I'm wearing very good headphones. Is there like a train or something near you?
No.
Okay. I don't know what I'm hearing.
Hold on. Yeah. Wait.
I hear horns.
No, it's definitely not here.
Okay.
It's very quiet here.
Okay. Well, you know, it's Car Week in Monterey right now. 100,000 people have descended on Monterey.
Laguna Seca.
100,000 people are in the Monterey Bay Area for Car Week. Classic racing, oohing and eyeing over vintage cars, fancy cars.
I loved that when things would come to Monterey, when they'd have the music festival and the like. It's great stuff.
Well, I still do remember fondly seeing 9 hypercars pulled over. Not supercars, hypercars pulled over on the side of Highway 1 with one officer just writing them all tickets. It's just like, hey, okay. I'll get to you when it's your turn. He just had 9 of those cars pulled over because there's a lot of spirited driving that goes on. Mm-hmm. And so I actually thought about it. It's like, should I be on 2 wheels right now? And I had to really think about it. And I actually started out on 2 wheels and then decided, I'm going to go get my car. I think I need lots of metal protection around me and airbags just in case somebody in a car that I can't even pronounce the name of, a Shemp with a W12 engine, decides to run into me. It's
have
fine.
Have you ever taken one all the way down from San Francisco to
Monterey?
Yeah, Monterey.
No.
Or Santa Cruz.
No, I've done Silicon Valley 17 up to San Francisco, back down 280 before, but I haven't done that. There's a lot of great the road from the Bay Area out to the coast to Pacifica. Pacifica is a really nice town.
Absolutely.
And they have some decent barbecue there. So that's a reason to go to Pacifica right there.
You know, the guy who I fired, the guy who was showing off.
The guy who was showing off with the girl by pulling out multiple drives from a RAID array.
Yes, pulling out two drives, two different drives out of the RAID.
Screw that guy.
I fired him on Friday of that week, and he got so mad he moved his family out to Pacifica. That's where he lives now.
Yeah,
and he's a system engineer. You might encounter this guy as a contractor.
Nah, I don't talk to people anymore. Hardly ever. But yeah, this poor woman, she's just walking down the street near Fenway and gets bitten by a rat. Now she's got to go through all these rabies shots and stuff. Again, it's one of those.
It's only 3 now, and
it's a lot easier than it used to be. And I don't think they're intramuscular in the stomach anymore.
They're intramuscular, but they give them in the midlateral thigh.
Yeah, that's better.
So, yeah, much better.
Yeah.
It is intramuscular because you have to. It's not important why.
It's not important why. It doesn't matter.
Is.
So there's a channel that I recommended previously. I think it's called Physics Duck, and this guy who works in power generation, he works in a power hydro plant, and he does a lot of videos on power. He put together one that basically explains how electric power works, which I thought was educational. Now I know you know it and I know it, but for the sake of chat, I thought this was a good little short video, and I'm just going to show it. Yeah. Because I think this, and then you can tell me whether you agree that I think he does a good job of explaining how electricity works.
Want to see something cool? I'm going to tell you something that once you really understand it is going to fundamentally change the way you think about electricity. First, some basics. Electricity is made from electrons, the little whizzy bits in the cloud around an atom. Yes, cloud. Orbits are boring. Atoms make molecules, and some of those molecules have a heart full of Jesus and are saving their electrons for marriage. We call them insulators. Some molecules are energetic heathens.
So good so far, right?
This is excellent.
Yeah.
This is outstanding.
Copper, I love you.
Let's go back.
Some molecules are energetic heathen sluts. Copper, I love you. And will happily share their electrons if you can make them laugh. These materials are conductors. Electricity is just moving electrons from place to place. The part that screws with people's brains is that in all of my power plants, we don't create any electrons. We just pull them along with a big magnet. The electrons in the wire were already there. They always have been. And that's pretty cool.
Exactly. It's not. I don't think people understand. It's about electromotive force. The electrons just are just part of the conductors. That's what voltage is. It's electromotive force.
Yes, in fact, that's literally the definition of voltage is electromotive force. Those 2 words are the only correct way to define voltage. I'm so glad that you put it exactly the right way, Ari. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's all it is. You just have to, like I said, make them laugh.
Yeah. I've had people ask me, well, okay, when all the electrons get finished coming from the source of the electrons, don't you have this big bunch of electrons over here? Where did they go? And I just tell them, well, they go into the drain. It's like water does.
Yeah.
You don't see them because they're electrons. They're very small. They actually go down the drain into the ground.
Yeah.
Which is what they do. But they're not electrons. The thing is, there really is something called electron drift, and it is a thing. But it's not like you're getting a stream of electrons like being pumped through a pipe, which is what people think. They think the electrons are going to come out somewhere, fall over the floor.
Yeah, it's a series of tubes.
A series of tubes. You remember the bit? Do you ever tell somebody about the bit bucket?
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Good old Dev Null. Yeah.
Dev Null. Oh, that's a long time ago.
It's fine.
I have the taste of Jolt Cola in my mouth. So
I think that was the whole Jolt Cola thing was pretty entertaining. It was like a bit of a cultural phenomenon, sort of like Pop Rocks. Remember Pop Rocks? But Jolt Cola was all the sugar, twice the caffeine. That was their slogan.
More of what you drink, a cola for.
Yeah.
It was all the sugar, twice the caffeine. More of what you drink a cola for is on every can. I used to buy that stuff by the 6-pack. I liked it so much. I liked the taste of Jolt Cola. That was my problem.
Mhm.
I liked it better than Coke. And not just because it jacked me up, although it did. It's also great hangover stuff. That was I was still drinking pretty heavily back then, so I need a lot of hangover help.
Yeah.
It's good hangover help. Jolt Cola is excellent for hangover, by the way.
It was good cola.
Yeah, it is. It was quality stuff, man. Jolt Cola and a bag of Funyuns or something. That was like supper.
Well, I would. What I do now when I want cola is I get out cola syrup and I mix it to my desired taste because
because you're a gourmand.
Because
you and Prospero both are gourmands, much more so than I am. I appreciate gourmet dining, and I like it every once in a while, but I don't. I really prefer plain and simple flavors
mm-hmm.
For my day to day.
Yeah.
I don't need gorgonzola more than twice a year.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of gorgonzola, to be honest.
Germans tend to smother meat with it.
Well, they like that kraut taste, as they call it, kraut, meaning that weird, funky taste. Mm-hmm. And yeah. I'm not a big fan of the kraut.
It's a little bit gamey.
Yeah, some of their opinions about liqueurs are like, eh. It's like, yeah, no. Okay, yeah.
Have you ever had any grappa?
Yeah.
That's somebody who knows their liqueurs.
I had grappa. I've had absinthe too, and absinthe is very anisey. It's very licoricey, which is weird because I actually like absinthe, but I'm not a big fan of licorice. There's just enough of a flavor difference. It's like, yeah, okay, it's fine. Talk about a thing that's going to give you headaches. That's definitely a thing that's going to give you headaches.
Yeah, wormwood. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have wormwood in it anymore.
No.
It's not even hallucinogenic once you throw a little psilocybin in there, which might not be a bad approach.
Yeah.
Minister of the Zoo doesn't recommend that, but SkepTok thinks it's a fine idea.
Yeah, well, we don't really recommend anything other than, like I said, go learn a random computer language just because it's good for your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And be nice to one another and think about other people once in a while. Somebody other than yourself. That's what Menus recommends. Those are the only things we recommend.
Yeah.
Learn computer language and be nice.
Yeah, I know Sora's not here, but here's a video of a baby elephant. Elephant calf having fun until it falls over and runs to its mother. Elephant's chasing like some kind of bird. Oh no, baby elephant, no. And then just runs.
I crashed, mommy, I crashed.
I gotta tell you, elephant psychology seems very understandable to me. Whenever I watch elephants and the way they socialize and they behave, they seem very relatable.
Very, very much so. It's interesting. I've been watching some of these things where these elephant tenders over in Africa will do something and, help a small elephant. Some small elephant gets into trouble and the herd sees this and they all get together and they trumpet thank you to the guy for getting the baby elephant out of the fence, out of the wire fence and back to the herd. Elephant societies are absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, I think elephant poachers should just be unalived.
Truly.
I really do. And I'm not going to extend that level of protection to all animals, but I think elephants just need to be I think that, no, I mean, as mammals go, because you just look at them and go, yeah, I totally get what's going on in elephant society. I understand this. This looks familiar to me. And I don't think it's just some weird psychological projection. You can just tell that the emotional structures between elephants are, there's something we understand as humans.
Yes, very, very, very much so. There's emotion on both ends with the elephants. But I think it's interesting that your concern doesn't extend to smaller prey mammals unrelated to elephants.
Yeah.
Which you cheerfully talk about unaliving.
Well, there was a something I did sort of save. There was I can't show too much of it for copyright reasons because don't want to be a hypocrite after what we just said about AI. There was a show, I guess it's called Love and Robots.
Yes.
And they did they did one section,
Love, Death, and Robots.
Love, Death, and Robots. And they did an animated section where this Scottish farmer goes to war with the rats in his barn. So he brings in like this robot killing machine to go after the rats. And I stumbled across some clip from this with no context. I'm like, what in the hell am I looking at? So let me just show you a tiny clip of this here. Let's see if I just find it. Ultimate Rat War, when the exterminator loses control.
What the hell?
This is how you know it's not Disney, when he just starts, spewing F-bombs.
Right.
Good boy.
See, I don't have any problem with this at all. He's just... There's a big pile of dead rats. Again, relatable. This makes me want to go watch this series.
Very much so.
Don't like rats.
No.
I'm sorry, because the thing about rats is it's very much an us versus them thing. Elephants are not causing me any problems whatsoever. They're over there doing their little elephant thing. Not a problem. I don't even particularly mind people using them. You want to ride on them, just treat them well. Have them haul some logs around somewhere in Asia, fine. But
have you ever ridden on an elephant?
No.
It's fun.
I'm sure it's fantastic.
It's like being on top of a house. A house with legs. That's the only way I can tell you. It's like being aboard the biggest thing you've ever been aboard. I mean, I've ridden a horse. I've ridden a lot of horses. And this is different. This is a completely different thing. You are a bug sitting on top of it. With a horse, you're a significant presence on the back of a horse. You're a team. You're doing all the man-horse things. With an elephant, you're irrelevant.
I've only ridden a horse once. I know that if I want to move to Texas, I'll have to. There's probably a test or something to see if I can still do that.
No, most Texans can't even ride.
But I've only ridden a horse once. The horse's name was Dusty, because I was inexperienced. I had to ride on the horse that they just sort of keep around. Who's like, here's the horse that we put idiots on who don't know what they're doing. Dusty knows where to go. We don't need you to tell Dusty anything. This is just an automated ride as far as you're concerned. Just
horses get trained, and when they get trained up and I call it accumulating wisdom, and horses get wise over the years. And sometimes they get wise and mean. Those are horses that are a pain in the ass, but most of them get wise, and it makes them calmer. It makes them easier to deal with. And they won't be obnoxious. The mean ones will do shit like step on you on purpose, and they will look down to see where your foot is and place their hoof on top of it.
Yeah,
I've known horses,
and then they'll horse laugh at you. They think it's hilarious.
Yes, they absolutely will. The head goes up and down, and and you're just going. And the only thing you can do is slug them in the ribs. That's why I used to do. My big trick was slap them in the ribs or put a knee in their stomach if they were starting to try and step on my foot, and just tell them this can be unpleasant this way too.
Yeah,
that's the only horse abuse that I ever do. But I do insist very firmly that the horse respect me, and horses, you'll have a better relationship with a horse if you push back. They will test you. A good horse will test you.
I've seen it. I've seen a tiny, like 50-something-year-old German woman who probably weighed 90 pounds being very aggressive with horses, and they knew who was boss.
Yep.
There was a little N-word munchkin who was busy
Yeah.
Training them in German. But that was a thing that happened in another life. I was like, it feels like several lifetimes ago. So damn long ago. But horses, I mean, if some people kill horses and eat them in some cultures, and they'll eat the whole thing, the idea of going after something as intelligent as an elephant just because you want to get some ivory, God, just no.
Have you ever eaten horse?
No. I don't know any Chinese people who owe me a favor. It's like, here's the gift of horse.
Chinese. That's not so much.
Oh, but I thought in China it was a gift, like almost like a housewarming gift type of thing. It's supposed to bring luck and prosperity.
Yeah. That is true. That's only in one part of China.
Yeah. Well, I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of people who eat horse.
The thing is, it's people in France. French. You can buy horse meat at every single supermarket you walk into in France. Every single one. When we used to have horse, when we lived there, we'd have horse probably 2-3 times a year.
But you'd bet they'd eat the whole thing, not just what didn't get turned into dog food. But
yeah, no, I mean they do eat the horse. They don't eat the tail.
But the waste of just killing an elephant just so you can take its tusk. That's just like, yeah. It's just a combination of the animal we're talking about and its intelligence.
Well, yeah,
and then the fact that it's just a huge waste in addition to everything else.
Yeah. I don't really approve of, in my adulthood, you got thinking about, do I really want to be in the business of killing horses? And I realized that my line is between cows and horses. That's where my line is. I have no objection to killing a cow for food. I don't like killing a horse. My no-kill line is between horses and cows. It's okay to kill a cow, not okay to kill a horse.
I have a meme for this. Of course I do, right? But
they shoot horses, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Do you remember that movie?
I didn't see it. With Hanoi Jane, yeah, I don't watch movies with that woman in it.
She played a whore?
Oh, that's method.
Typecast.
Very method.
Playing the type.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, well, I'm tired. You're tired. I think we've done our 2 hours. And it's time for me to say goodbye to everybody so that you can go get your beauty rest and I can go do whatever it is I'm going to do with the rest of the time before I fall asleep. I actually stupidly started playing Minecraft, and I do have kind of an addictive personality in some weird ways. And, that's why I'm careful about which habits I let myself get. It would be bad to get the wrong ones.
You're wise.
Yeah.
You're very wise.
A little Minecraft before bed is not the worst thing in the world. I spend so much less time gaming than most of the people I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gaming is just a giant time sink.
It is. I kind of like sim games, and I like problem solving. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do in Minecraft. I don't know. It's not my job to judge other people's fun. I'm not anti-fun. If people have fun and they still get all the stuff done that they need to get done, so be it. But learn Haskell or Fortran or Lisp. That's fun.
Learn some Lisp. Learn one of these implementations of Lisp script that does all the scut work, all the throws and catches for you.
Yeah, I learn how to master the command line. Actually, there's one of the things that I was thinking about talking about later, but I'm holding off because it's just you and I, is asking a question of the panel. It's like, okay, so explain to me why you don't run Linux. Just, why not? If not, why not? Because it's definitely reached the point where, if not today, soon, if you don't want to upgrade to Windows 11, you got options, especially given how far things have come with gaming on Linux lately.
Yeah, the only reason to stay in the Microsoft environment is there's more titles available.
But you can play a lot of the
There's-
Microsoft titles on a Linux thing.
You
Steam
certainly
Decks
can.
are Linux now.
You certainly can, but not all of them. Not anywhere
Yeah.
close to all of them.
Yeah, not all the AAA games.
And the until Linux has made just amazing strides getting friendly with running the programs that users of Windows expect to have run. You can now do all the normal things if you care to make the effort in Linux that you could do in Windows. The only thing about Windows is with Linux, you don't have the ease of fall off a log, set up an operating system. Any idiot can install Windows. Not any idiot can install Linux.
I dare say there are versions of Linux out there now that are easier to install than Windows. It's reached the point where there are definitely releases that are really easy, like Mint. They're
Okay.
Yeah, but this is a conversation for another time. We need a bigger panel, and it needs to not be when people have already left, and this is not the time for that conversation. But there's like so much stuff that we need to talk about, and I've got some great stuff for Functional when he comes back next week. So we've definitely got some stuff to look forward to, and I have a rant that's ready to go, which I think you're going to really like. You and Functional are both going to like this rant.
I will enjoy it.
So something to look forward to in future.
A little
Saturday
teaser
shows.
for our audience, who guys hanging on. Thank you for joining us this evening.
All right,
And,
hey, thanks.
Great hanging out with you.
Thanks, Hate Camel, Green Badger. A lot of people stayed with us. Raymond Lewis stayed with us till the end, and the furry bastard. All right. Well, anyway, this has been your Minions of Zoo for Saturday. Thank you, one-person panel. Thank you, chat. Zoo is closed. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.